Hello, good evening, and welcome back. Da-da-da, Project Fear. Brexit. Gove won't commit to abide by law to block no deal. Well, he might. He said, let's see what it says. But hey, that's not a snappy headline, and that wouldn't be misleading enough for the BBC. Oh, hell no. So this is from earlier today. Anyway, of Michael Gove himself. Looks like Ian Hislop to me, but that might just be me. Prime Minister Michael Gove has refused to say whether the government would abide by legislation designed to stop the UK leaving the EU without a deal. Oh, okay. I thought they said I won't commit to abide by law. Saying you just won't talk about it. Okay. Technically true then. Absolute mad lad. Almost as if he's saying, yeah, people have voted. We're trying to maintain democracy and not have the country tear apart at the seams and destroy the fabric of the democratic reality. But no, maybe this isn't good. Who knows? Maybe instead of that, we should just listen to these elites who have no idea what they're talking about, don't understand basically anything, and are just addicted to power. So let's read on. Shadow Brexit Secretary Sir Keir Starmer told the BBC MPs would introduce a bill seeking to do that when Parliament returns this week, as in block no deal. But asked if the government would abide by this if it succeeded, Mr Gove said, let's see what the legislation says. Fair enough. Sir Keir described Mr Gove's comments as breathtaking. Oh no, it's fields before wheels there. Cabinet Minister Mr Gove also said some food prices may go up and other prices will come down in the event of a no-deal Brexit. Yes, there's fluctuation. Funnily enough, there's been fluctuation while we've been part of the EU. This is just a non-answer. I don't care. I know that, especially in this day and age, and especially with politicians, nobody likes being held accountable, so they just use weasel words and squirm their way out of it. But, that's exactly what you'd expect. That says nothing. So, things will change unless they stay the same. So, right. How insightful. It's like things can only get better unless they get worse or stay the same. It's like, yeah. Brilliant. The UK is due to leave on Halloween. Yep, woo, looking forward to it. What a spooky time. The Prime Minister says he's willing to leave without one rather than miss the deadline, which has prompted a number of opposition MPs to unite to try and block a possible no deal. Yes, and it has also prompted the EU negotiators to try and extend the deadline in order to make a deal, because they realise that crashing out without a deal is bad for the European Union as well. And now that Boris Johnson has stared the dragon down, as the British says, they're thinking, shit, we've actually got to do something about this, otherwise we're fucked as well. But yeah, you are. And I'm glad you finally realised this. But then again, I think the EU realised that they were on the worst end of the bargain from the very beginning, but just thought, hey, if we don't admit it, then Theresa the Appeaser will give us everything we want. And she basically did, but now we've got Johnson there. Johnson's sticking up for us. I got off penis jokes. Sir Keir told... It doesn't matter, does it? We don't care. We don't care, Starmer. You're a Labour liar, so let's ignore you. Gove said, wait to see what legislation the opposition may try to bring forward. Yeah. So what could happen next week in Parliament? So Tuesday, MPs return to the Commons. Expected to put forward legislation to stop no deal under Standing Order 24, the rule that allows MPs to ask for debate on a specific and important matter that should have urgent consideration. Wednesday, in theory, the bill would then be debated and could potentially pass through all further stages in the Commons. However, the bills must pass through a series of votes and receive backing from more than half of MPs in order to pass on to the next stage. Boris Johnson's first Prime Minister questions as Prime Minister also takes place. Good luck. No. Thursday, considering there's not going to be a Tory that's going to vote against their own party, because otherwise they're dead in the water. That ain't going to stand. They're going to be out of the party, and therefore they're going to be out of politics, they're going to be out of a job, and unless they've done enough successful lobbying for companies that they're going to go work for and do speeches, it ain't going to work. Thursday, if MPs pass the bill, it could then reach the House of Lords by Thursday, but consideration of the bill could spill into Monday. It will be debated and voted on. The House is not due to sit on Friday. Yes, basically, everything takes longer with the government involved, and everything is more expensive. Monday 9th September, if the bill passes these hurdles, it could gain royal assent, which formally makes it law. If, not when, and it could, not that it will. Nothing to worry about. Awesome. You're just going to waste time, which is what they've been doing for years now, if not decades, if not centuries. Boris Johnson says he asked for the suspension in order to hold a Queen's speech, sets out a list of laws the government hopes to get approved by Parliament. That's on the 14th of October. Another hurdle for any bill could come in the House of Lords, although opponents to no deal have a large majority. Peers wanting to block a piece of legislation could talk and talk until there's no time left. I love it. I love it. That's why it took Farage, about 25 years in order to get the vote. Just to say, let's just say that we should leave the European Union. It's like, yeah, we should. And it's a good thing we didn't join the Eurozone. I mean, you can see how Greece has gone. The Euro is blocking them from devaluing their currency, which is really bloody useful, and it's also great that we can. And just because the pound has dropped against the Euro, it does not mean it's necessarily a bad thing. It's the value of the currency, not the value of the country. I mean, why do you think China wants to artificially decrease the value of the Chinese yuan? Exactly. So opposition parties and those who are against no-deal Brexit are split on their aims. The enemy of my enemy is not my friend, apparently. Lib Dem said her party's aim this week was to achieve... Yeah, Leila Moore, great. To achieve an extension to Article 50. Yet another one. The process, but yeah, we all know. To get a further referendum. We stand by our Stop Brexit stance, but we do that via a people's vote, and that's step one. There were lies told on many sides. Yeah, cool, more stuff from Labour, don't give a shit. No food shortage. So, pressed on whether there would be shortage of fresh food in a no-deal Brexit scenario, Mr Gove said everyone will have the food they need. Again, that's a non-answer. He added, no, there will be no shortage of fresh food. Finally. Yes, and it would make sense to still be trading with your closest ally and anyone from the EU, probably France, just because trying to get things from America can take about a month. Trying to ship it across. So I strongly recommend you keep it with Europe. But we'll see. If they don't want to play, then we won't. We'll do it ourselves. When asked if food price would increase, Gove replied, I think there are a number of economic factors in place. Some price may go up, other prices will come down. That doesn't answer it at all. Thank you, Mr. Gove. He said freedom of movement will end as we understand it. Woohoo! But added that the EU settlement scheme was working well. Yes, 1 million have already sorted it out with 3.5 million left to go. And that closes December next year, 2020. So when people are saying, oh no, well, we've got to be sorted by Halloween. No, you haven't. You haven't read it, have you? And you want another vote. So you don't understand what you're voting for. And you're saying that's what we're like? The hypocrisy is strong with this one. It's projection at its finest. So, the Trade Association British Retail Consortium said Mr Gove's claims on potential fresh food shortages were categorically untrue. The retail industry has been crystal clear in its communications with government over the past 36 months that the availability of fresh foods will be impacted as a result of checks and delays at the border, a statement said. You really think that's going to be a problem? When push comes to shove, pretty sure any government anywhere would rather ensure that that the people aren't going to form a revolt out of food shortages. Unless, of course, you want to look to influences from communism, because we all know that ends in breadlines. But that's just because there isn't enough food, not that there is and they're not getting it. And even then you have uprisings and people trying to fight against the government. So I really doubt that the government that can stop it, can stop that being an issue, is going to allow it to be one. Northern Ireland Retail Consortium Director Aaron Connolly, it's Billy Connolly, also said Mr Gove's claims was not true. Meanwhile, the government's Get Ready for Brexit campaign and portal has been launched on its website. Individuals or businesses can answer questions on it on topics including whether they propose to travel to the EU or export to Europe, and it then returns results which suggest how to start preparing for Brexit. Brilliant, cool, so it's all sorted, and the businesses have been saying for a long time now, just let us know what's happening and we'll make it work. Free market has all the answers as far as I'm concerned, and it always works faster, it always works quicker, and it always works better. So good stuff. It seems like stuff is actually moving forward. Boris Johnson is calling the bluff of the EU dragon, and it is shrinking in size because it has been acknowledged. So looking forward to it. We're gonna finally have our independence from the autocracy. Yes, I'm hyperbolic. That is the European Union, and the European Union is going to crash in about 10 years anyway. There's too much infighting, too much failing. Other countries want to leave, and when they realise that the UK has got good bargaining chips and that the EU doesn't want to leave without a deal, and they still want us, considering how good London is, especially being the finance capital of the world, as well as the acid attack capital. Anyway, ignore that. So one of these was created on British values and happened through assimilation and bringing the best people to the country and training people and getting everybody working together. And another was created by importing different cultures that didn't want to mix, didn't want to assimilate, and then people within the own country that wanted to go against it. So, yeah, we've got the best in the world and the worst in the world in the same city. And I've spoken to quite a few people who have decided to leave London because they didn't feel safe. In fact, one couple I spoke to back when I worked at a pub was a guy who said his fiancée came home, said she was walking home, and two guys came on bicycles, and she was very weary of them, and therefore she tried to shield herself because she thought they were going to throw acid on her, but they ended up just cycling past and stealing the man's mobile phone behind her. So she got home really pleased and happy and shared that with her husband, saying, "Yes, I wasn't attacked with acid," to which his response was, "We gotta leave." if you're pleased and you think it's a really good thing that you weren't horrifically maimed for life, then maybe we should go to a place where your standards can be at least a little higher. He chose Manchester, so maybe not the greatest foresight there, but nonetheless, it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think below. Always interested to hear what you guys have to say. If you're looking forward to leaving, if you think no deal is no problem. And I will see you next time. Have a good one.